Now it's time to shift our attention to football, and one of the big turnaround stories this season has been Minnesota Crookston. We talked a little bit on our last show about Concordia St. Paul and their rise to the top, or at least to the contender status in the NSIC. But now I think it's time to take a look at Minnesota Crookston. Last year, one of the other new members of the conference and really struggled. This year, they're right in the hunt and coming off of a big win this past week against Concordia University.
Yeah, Scott Oliver's done a real nice job with his ball club. And, you know, they lost a couple of conference games early. People, I think, kind of thought they may be out of it, and they just hung around. They keep knocking people off, and now, if the right things happen, they could end up sharing the conference title with two other teams.
Well, they've been obviously helped by Samaji Frazier-Billings, their leading rusher, but this team's rise has been far more than just one player that's among the statistical leaders. You can't turn a program around this fast with one player.
And I had a chance to watch Crookston in action this year, and they, you know, Coach Oliver's really stressed that. He's really focused in on what the team needs to do as a whole. And you know, you talk about Samaji and what he's done, but he's had an offensive line that's really gelled well in the last few weeks to get him some yards.
Well, and you also have to be able to step things up defensively if you're going to make a turnaround, and a turnaround that's going to keep you in contender status. You have to be able to play defense. They're second in the conference in scoring defense. There's been a lot of talk in this part of the country about the fact that the man at the University of Minnesota came in and decided we're going to run the ball and we're going to stop the run, and that's what Crookston's been able to do in the NSIC.
Yeah, they early on in the year, their defense played well. In fact, I think the defense has been playing well throughout the year, and the offense is starting to catch up with the defense, and that's where you're seeing more and more wins. But you're right, it's been kind of a process, and they seem to gel quicker than I think maybe some people expected, and we'll have to see what happens in this last weekend.
And I think they've proven some people wrong. There were a lot of people who looked at the conference expansion last year and said Concordia and Crookston did not belong. We're not ready to compete with some of the other existing programs in this league, and now here both of them are in the upper half of the league.
And actually, if you look across the board in the conference, we're having a great season. I mean, people are knocking each other off. Sometimes coaches don't always like to hear about that parity, but you know, now that seventh place team can play with that first place team, and that's important to have a good conference.